Hi, Gary. It's Uncle Extra Medium again. It must be Thursday night. Time for another episode of the Hour Before TNL.
Hi, everybody. I clicked the wrong button. So anyway, we're not gonna see the end of the intro. Thanks everybody for coming. This is the 43rd episode of the Hour Before Thursday Night Live. It's June the 16th, 2022, and it's hot as can be in here. Let me explain the rules as I do every week. We don't allow politics, religion, or racism. Kindness and respect is expected of everybody on the panel and in the chat. And you have the right to free speech except here because it's my channel and my rules. Anyway, without further ado, my co-host, Mr. Jim Beauchart.
Why?
I don't know.
I think that boo was for your technical producer over there.
Oh, God. You know, he goes up there and he starts messing around with the buttons and he clicks on stuff. Yeah. You know, and we didn't get to see the ad for the sandpaper, you know?
Because the sprinkles are not selling feature.
Well, yeah, but we ran out of the sprinkles.
Oh, well.
You know, so that's what that is. Everything good by you?
Things are falling into place. It's a big week for you coming up. You're going on your trip, and I'm going on my hospital trip. And Bob's your uncle. See you in 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Well, yeah, 3 weeks
for me.
Yeah, for you, 3 weeks. Yeah. Anyway, guess who we got this week?
This is impressive. For him to take time out for us, wow, I'm impressed.
Wow. Okay. Without further ado, let's not keep everybody in suspense. Mr. Don Joyce.
You know, when it's $10,000 you're paying me for an hour's work, how could I refuse?
Wow.
Hot off a meeting with Transport Canada this morning. How did that go, Don?
It went very well. This is a busy day. I had that meeting in the morning. I've got a steering committee meeting after this one with the Drone Pilot Association of Canada. The Transport Canada meeting went really well. Excuse me. So we had I put out a video back in mid-May somewhere about the new AIM document that came out, and this is the document that is basically the English language version of the rules in Canada, and there was some weird stuff in there. They changed the protocol for contacting aerodromes and stuff. And they said, oh yeah, you should do this and you should do that. And it's like, hang on, we didn't have to do that before. Why do we have to do it now? So there was some dialogue back and forth with the Transport Canada guys, and eventually they said, why don't we talk? And so we set up a meeting, or they set up a meeting, which was great. And then they moved it. And I said, it shouldn't just be me and you. It should be, first of all, the DPAC, the Drone Pilot Association of Canada Steering Committee, and it should be NAV Canada, because half of the problem is the NAV Canada stuff. And TC and NAV Canada, they don't seem to talk all that much. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't talk, but it's not like family, So it was a interesting meeting.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the end, I had 4 problems that, I said, this, and this, and we talked through each one of them and got an answer for each one of them. And they took all of it very seriously. Steve Bannister and Mike Hill were on the call with me from DPAC. The others couldn't make it for one reason and another. But we were all in there, saying, well, yeah, but that doesn't make sense, and this doesn't make sense. And TC would say, well, this is the reason we do it, and we'd say, that doesn't make sense. So in the end, it was a good dialogue. They listened, they heard. I'll tell you one thing that was I think their jaw hit the floor. We were talking about, what was it that we were talking about? Something about contacting. No, it wasn't that. It was about radio, airband radio. Because one of the things they want us to do now is listen on the radio to this gibberish that nobody can understand unless you're a pilot. And they were saying, yeah, but if you are a pilot, you get used to it. And I don't find it a problem. That's what this guy was saying. And I said, well, we did a survey of the 1,000 people. There are now over 1,000 people, by the way, in DPAC, which is fantastic.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're members.
Yeah, I see the logo on the wall. There it is. So there's over 1,000 people, and they said a number of very cool things. Cool in the sense of you never know what these guys think. So they were talking about different associations like COPA, and we were in there, like DPAC and COPA, in there like an established organization, even though we're brand new. They were talking about things like the number of people that we have on our team, and it was like you have a sizable number of participants, sizable community, sizable proportion of the community, not just a couple of guys that get together over a beer. This is a sizable community, and it is 1,000 people. I don't care, even if you're dealing with 1 million drone pilots, 1,000 of us is a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were, I said we did this survey a couple of weeks ago, and 75% of the people who responded, which is half of our DPAC community answered the survey, which is amazing enough. But 75% of them said they had very little or no aviation experience before getting into droning and having to go through all these crazy exams and stuff. And their jaws just dropped. They honestly seem to think that most people know what a NOTAM is and what a METAR is and all this stuff, and ATS this and ATC this and FSS, and just contact your FSS. It's like, no, sir, that's not true. Most of us learn enough to pass the exam, and then it's like drain it out of the ears.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
well, that's so true. Like I learned how to read METARs, but if you sent me a METAR today, I'd get something out of it, but I get more out of my app that tells me what the weather's like.
Sure. Or just looking outside. After all, you're droning close by. It's not like you're droning on the other side of the world.
It's not like I'm sitting in my basement flying the drone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm out there in the weather pretty much, you know. And
it is a rock, and you'd be fine.
So now you've got 1,000 people signed up. How do you get more? Like, there's a link in the description on how to join.
Yeah. Okay, good.
What else do we need to do to get more people involved?
Well, I think the more, it's like anything. Do you want to join something that is going somewhere or isn't? And up until I would say even today, up until today, we've done nothing. So why would anyone join? I don't know why these 1,000 people join. So I think as people see that we are having a meaningful impact on the way drone regulations are defined and how they are interpreted by means of things like the AIM. I think people will say, yeah, I want to get behind that, and they'll sign up. So
that's the exact reason. So we jump on your back. You're our voice at these meetings, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. And I don't mind doing it. And the steering committee is like very strong. Oh, you'd love this. This was you couldn't set this up if you wanted to. So I won't name the guy on Transport Canada, but Steve Bannister, who's a former Air Force guy, this guy on Transport Canada, the lead guy that we were dealing with, is also an ex-military guy. So about halfway in the meeting, he says, just while you were talking, I was looking in my logbook. You, sir, Steve Bannister, were my commanding officer and signed off on my whatever the hell it was, his graduation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in terms of getting respect,
Yeah.
So Steve Bannister's on our steering committee. He was active and vocal and always brings a voice of reason to the table. And here he is, the former boss of the guy that we're dealing with. So it's like, it was an interesting dynamic at that point. And like I said,
Excellent.
you couldn't set that up if you wanted to.
No, you couldn't have scripted that better.
No,
that's great. One comment was made about joining, and it's about the credit card requirement. You still have what's that? Just to identify that people are real?
No. I collect the credit card so that maybe 6-8 months down the road, when you're not really suspecting it, I can suck a few $1,000s out of your account.
Yeah. Assuming we have any.
Because I was wondering why you asked my mother's maiden name in the first car I ever had.
Yeah, that's for the password, clues and stuff, because we try all those combinations as well. No, seriously, when you sign up, it looks like you're buying something because it's done on my wife's Shopify store. It's a thing that and I'm sorry to say she has passed away 2 months ago, and I'm horrified about that, but we won't go on about it. It's it's a fact. It happened. It's horrible, and I'm trying to move on. So she had an online business selling pocket watches and knives and all sorts of amazing things, and so I piggybacked on her store as a mechanism for selling digital stuff. I sell my study guides and things like that through that storefront. And what are you pulling out? Oh, cool. Oh, that's a fantastic one.
Very good. It's an old Waltham, and I won it in a draw. And
wow.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing. I keep it in this box, right? And I put the lid on the box, and that's my microphone stand.
You see, pocket watches are in everyone's life.
Oh man, and I thought it is such a waste for me to own this because it is a thing of beauty, and it never comes out of that case. You know, it should be displayed somewhere.
I'll tell you, my wife's father had a collection of pocket watches, antique pocket watches, much like that one, and she inherited that from him, and now I've inherited it from her, I guess. And we have a table in our living room at home. I'm at the cottage right now, and it's like a display case, and it's got, I think there's 200 pocket watches in this.
Wow.
In this case. Yeah. If you
I have one.
if you watch the video, what the heck was it? We're in the living room. Oh, it's where my son and I are flying the little drones around and having a hoot, trying to bounce off each other's heads. If you look carefully, yeah, I was flying that guy. Yes, the HTO2. So if you look directly below the camera, I think you can just see it for a second. There's this display case with all these watches in it. So yeah, wow. Now, that's not the kind of stuff that my wife was selling, but the ones she sells are very nice as well. Oh, now I have to show you a pocket watch. We're doing pocket watch pals here, so that's the one that.
Oh wow! So that you can see all the mechanism working in there, eh?
Yeah. If I wound it, yes.
Very nice. Well, you know, you're supposed to wind these things every day. I can't imagine owning 200 pocket watches and having to wind them. That'd be a full-time job.
It would be. I certainly don't wind them. And when I clean the case, which happens once a year, it gets dusty in there. You know, they all just kind of jostle enough that you can barely hear yourself think because they're all ticking.
Everything ticks at once, eh? Wow.
So I'll sell you a pocket watch now. I did reopen her store when she passed away. I absolutely needed to close it because, you know, she had a full-time job selling these things, and I was engraving them because on the back, on that glass on the back, you can get your initials engraved or a date or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Oh cool.
Yeah.
So you have some kind of machine that etches them, or?
Yeah, I've got laser machines up my ass here.
Holy smokes! Yeah, yeah.
Somewhere over there's a laser, and yeah, it's very cool. They're beautiful when they're done.
Everybody else has stickers, but we have Don drones on laser watches.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the
drone stuff.
Why do I ask for a credit card? I don't ask for a credit card. It's a storefront. It's generic. It asks you for the only things that are mandatory are your name, or let me put it this way, a name. So you can put, you know, Mickey Mouse if you want, an email address. If you give me a stupid email address, like not your real one, then I won't be able to contact you with surveys and things like that. Yeah. And a postal code. That's it. You don't have to put it there. In fact, it doesn't even ask you for a credit card. I went through it. I tried because somebody asked me recently, you know, what's going on? How come you're asking for a credit card? And it's there, but if you don't enter it, it doesn't. You don't.
Okay. Yeah. So all right. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So we should be able to get more people. You know, I'll do what I can. You know, I think it's a worthwhile thing that we have a voice. I don't know that they have such a thing in the U.S. for drone pilots, other than what Race Day Quads is doing, or you know, that sort of thing. You know, I think it's great, and you know, if we have an opportunity to influence drone law and you know the way they ask their stupid questions, oh my God, you know.
Yeah.
I was asked a question on.
I forgot to mention this Shopify thing. It's going away. One of our members contacted me and said, "Look, I'm a designer, and I'm happy to set up a website better than Don's like absolutely sad website that I did set up." I'm embarrassed that I've even did that, but I did it myself with my own little hands. So we're
handcrafted by Don. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's awful. But anyways, we're getting a proper guide to put it together, a proper website, and one of the things that he's setting up for us is a proper e-commerce thing for so it'll be much better. It'll be fantastic, and I get the impression like we're having a meeting tomorrow. Yeah, this is a busy week for drone stuff. He and I are getting together tomorrow to set up the database. And then one of the other members of the steering committee, Stephen Anderson, is way more, I'll say, marketing and artistically savvy than I am. And he's going to be the point of contact to set up that website. But cool. Yeah, I don't, I get criticized for the color of toothbrush I pick. So wow. I don't want to design a website.
Very good. Very good. How's your Drone Pilot Canada app going? People are still piling onto that one, or
at least 100 a month? Yeah.
Yeah. Right? If you're Canadian and you don't have that, you're crazy. That's the best money invested. If you're going to fly drones, you need that app.
Yeah. It's a shame they don't have something like that in the States. It's a one-stop wonder. I mean, you could find out everything you need to know. You can find out all the NOTAMs that are in the area and all that good stuff,
Of all the features, I think that's probably one of the coolest, that it filters out all the garbage and shows you the NOTAMs, if they happen to exist, that apply to drones in your area. Yeah.
Well, and it shows you the Nav Canada the Nav Canada maps and all those zones. Yeah. And then you can switch it over to the DJI one that shows you all the bow ties, right?
Yeah.
So it gives you everything.
How many times have we gone out and said, oh, great, there's no airport there, only to discover that DJI decided there was, and that you need to do a flight authorization or whatever they call it, unlock to get to go. So this way you can flip it over and look before you head out your door. And and like you said, it covers everything: the checklist, the procedures, the flight logs, the maintenance logs. You can have your certification PDF in there, your registration stuff, all this crap that TC expects you to carry around that you would need a binder to accomplish. And Don, it would be useless even if you did have it. So
Don, when I took my flight review, right, I went through the checklist, right? And the guy was looking at me, the flight reviewer. He said, "Where'd you get that?" I said, "It's on my Drone Canada Pilot app." And he went, "Let me see that." And I showed it to him. He said, "I got to get that." The flight reviewer said, "I'm going to get that," right?
That's fantastic.
He was impressed that I was that prepared, that I had all that stuff at hand. You know?
I have
as well as having the first aid kit and the fire extinguisher next to me and all the other requirements,
the vest and all this other nonsense that really like.
Well, here I am with my Dayglow shirt on, Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, I hear from a lot of flight reviewers who say that the difference between someone that they're working with who has Drone Pilot Canada versus somebody who doesn't it's like night and day. Like the people who have Drone Pilot Canada, they're relying upon it, which is a bit of a concern because you should be able to know this stuff on your own and everything else, but they know what they need to know, and they're familiar with things, and they if they ask, well, where's the aerodrome closest, they go, boom, it's right over there, and here's the number for it. Whereas if you ask someone who doesn't have the app, and this is just from anecdotal statements from flight reviewers, they're saying, hey, so often they're caught off guard. They don't know. They're pulling out maps and flapping around in the wind, and it's frightening. So
no, it's a fabulous resource, and thank you for coming up with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Did I freeze up? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Recurrent exam. Oh man, have you done the recurrent exam yet?
Well, there is no such thing as a recurrent exam. Every 2 years, you're supposed to do a recurrency activity, and
Yes.
it's and there's a list of, you can take the exam again if you want, but you don't have to. It can be a course that's been certified by Transport Canada, or not certified. There's a fancy word, accepted or recognized or something like that. Or they put out a quiz. They put out that quiz in the bulletin. Maybe that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
And it's madness. It makes the exam look like fun. Why would they put out a recurrency quiz that has nothing to do with drones? I mean, yeah, there's some questions there, but it makes no sense.
But here's the thing. They ask you the question and they say, this is the answer. What's your answer? So you click on their answer, hit copy, and then you go down there and you hit paste. And that's what I did through the whole thing. And I got 90%. Well, how did I miss 10? Yeah, I missed one. I didn't put anything in. I skipped a question, but I still got the recurrent. Now I'm required to carry that around, right? So,
oh yeah,
but it's like 13 pages, right? You gotta have all the questions and what your answers were, and you fold that up and you shove it in your drone bag, and it's bigger than it. Folded up, right. It's bigger than the controller.
Well, or you can make a PDF of it and upload it to Drone Pilot Canada.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Maybe that's the way.
And just while I'm selling pocket watches and apps and study guides, I also have a recency course. It's I think $15 or $16 or something like that, and it basically gives you a bunch of videos to watch as good reminders of what they're drone videos. They're my drone videos. So you're actually reminding yourself properly, not just taking some stupid, cut and paste exercise. And then there's 6 questions, 8 questions, something like that. I don't remember now, but they're reasonable questions that you really should know. And they're not trick questions, but they're not stupid. They're not just, how many wings does an airplane have kind of thing. They're reasonable questions. And, so, yeah. So I still,
and one on each side. There's the port and the start, and the top one and the bottom one,
and the top one and the bottom one,
and the 2 at the back, and the one that goes up and down.
The wing that goes up and down. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I don't know if you can see it. I'll turn over there. There you go. There's the original airplane way up there.
Nice.
I've got the big Wright brothers thing. I used to work for them.
You tightened their spokes, or?
Oh, Ken Heron's in the chat. Yeah. Somebody sent him a picture of Beauchart in the shower.
Yeah, sorry you had to see that, Ken. That was for fans only page. I don't know how you got it.
Yes, you know what? I haven't acknowledged anybody in the chat. Warren's here from Akirasho, Jody from Drone Shots, Ken Heron's with us, Bill from Legwork, Angela from Lost Girl Adventures, Matt from Batty's Drone World, Max from Max Air 420, Lawrence is here, One Vision Aerial, Herman, Scott is here, Scott Nadeau, and who doesn't have a wrench yet. We'll fix that. Sudbury One Drone, my buddy up in Sudbury. Never met him, but we're going to get up there one day. Susan Lee is here, and John's on the wall. John Childs from Unlimited Vertical. So anyway, thanks everybody for putting up with us. And I'm sorry I haven't been as involved in the chat. I'm just engrossed here.
I've been droning on as usual. So.
Yeah. Oh, I got what you did there.
Oh, yeah, Don drones on.
There you go.
So you're at Beaver Lake now, right near you're near Tamworth, eh? That's sort of north,
Tamworth, yeah.
north of Kingston.
It's northwest of Kingston, and it's a beautiful little lake. Nice community, friendly people. It's so nice. It's very nice.
So they're not going to be upset when we move about 50 drone pilots in there for a weekend sometime this summer.
No, they'll be fine with that.
We recently had
I'll be fine with that.
we recently had a drone meetup in Burlington, Ontario, and it wasn't quite the South Florida drone meetup. We had 4 pilots there, and we're going to do something again probably in the fall, and probably still keep it around the greater Toronto area, because there seem to be a number of pilots here. I don't see Organized Confusion Drones in the chat today. He's been here before, but
Dave? Yeah.
I'd love to get Dave out, because he's an incredible pilot in Toronto.
Oh my God! So many times I have lost my breakfast watching him fly over a skyscraper and then gimbal down.
Yeah.
Do you FPV at all, Don?
Sorry.
Do you FPV at all, other than that little mini thing?
No, not at all.
No interest.
No.
Well, maybe I'll get into it at some point, but I'm still having fun with. I've got a Mavic 2 Pro and a Mini 2. I got my Mini 3 on order. That'll be coming in a few weeks. So
yeah, sure. You keep hanging on to that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with my Air 2S and my original Mavic Air, and just the other day I got the Pocket 2. So we're going to be taking that to Newfoundland and doing, a little vlogging or something. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with it. We have just got such a crammed schedule. I think maybe
Are you driving?
Well, no. We're flying to Halifax. We're getting a car. We're getting a car in Halifax. We're making our way up to Cape Breton and to Sydney. We've got 2 days to get to Sydney from Halifax. Then we're taking the ferry across. That's an entire day. That's a 6-hour boat, 6-hour boat ride. Then we stay in Port aux Basques, and then we're going up to Corner Brook to visit Bill from Newfound Drone Productions.
Very good.
Then we're going to Gros Morne, the big national park with all the big mountains and stuff.
Ah, cool.
Then off to Gander. We're going to Gander to see the aviation museum there. And then to St. John's for a couple days before we fly back. So 9 days total. And
are you from Newfoundland? Or
no, never been. The only province. It's the only province or territory that I haven't been to. So I've been from. This will be a coast to coast thing. So,
well, when I was a kid, I lived in Summerside, PEI, and I always remember it as a cool place. I mean, the winters are not cool; they're horrifying. But I would like to go back to the East Coast someday.
Yeah.
You know who you should meet when you're in Halifax or in the Halifax area is
Dave Strzelinski.
Yes.
Yeah, I should probably get in touch. But the thing is, it's such a tight schedule. You can't spend more than an hour or so with people. I don't know. I'm retired. I should have taken 3 weeks, but in the summer you got to be home to cut the grass. You got to maintain the pool. You got to, we got 2 dogs at home that are going to be staying with my daughter. And, it's like, and I don't know how I ever found time to work.
I can fully appreciate that. I'm still working. Well, not full-time. I changed from full-time to 3 days a week as of January. And I don't know how I stood 5 days a week before this. So.
Oh, that's crazy. And you're a software engineer, aren't you? You do something software.
I'm actually a system engineer. it's a bizarre job because, you know, I do it in my pajamas at my cottage over my garage. And I'm responsible for part of Nokia's business. I work for Nokia, and I'm responsible for all of their installation and commissioning, or deployment is what we call it, a business globally for all their IP routers and optical equipment.
Wow.
And like I said, I do it in my pajamas. So
Yeah.
Well, I drive a Kia, and if I gave my car away on the stream, I would be Nokia.
Yeah.
Sounds a Kia. My son is sort of an IT guy too, but he does his in the military.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So he deploys equipment to other sites, right? Well, and sometimes he has to go with it, you know. But when he goes for months. But that's the sort of the IT part of the military, right? I mean, and he's in Kingston now, so.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, nice.
Right at their School of Electronics or whatever they call it. I don't know. I'll ask him when he comes down tomorrow. So
the funny thing, so I'm on the business side of this whole thing at Nokia, and we've got a web app that allows us to do cost estimation and things like that. And I'm kind of the father of that, if you like, much like with Drone Pilot Canada. And it's got this tool that we use, or that we designed and use at Nokia, also has a 3-letter acronym that starts with a D. And I'm always getting confused about, okay, where am I? Oh yeah, I'm at work, so it's not Drone Pilot Canada. What release is this? 5 point? No, it's 4 point. And it is. I've got these two worlds with apps and web apps and stuff, and they all sound the same. And
we've come to a world full of acronyms, right? Everything's got you know, it's because you know, if you have an Air 2S, it's an A2S, you know, or an MA2.
The whole word air is ridiculous. Why would you use that?
Oh, exactly. Oh man, the world is insane. Jim, did I give you a number for the?
Absolutely,
I did. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do our weekly sticker draw. Stickers. So we need you to guess a number between 1,000 and 1,050.
Psych.
See, everybody's more than 900 away. Between 1,000 and 1,050.
Like what is hard about that? Oh, there we go. Bill got one. Bill got the prize. He picked one.
No, but he didn't.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we're talking.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so now we can subscribe to Gary's channel. Gary needs 10 more subscribers for that magic 1,000. Don, you know what that's like. You're over 14,000 subs now.
Yeah, I can't.
14,000.
14,300. Yeah, I don't know. It's mad.
Can you loan me 10?
But you gotta give them back.
I had 1,000 subs in February of 2020, and then COVID hit, and I went down to like 960.
Wow!
And now I'm back up to 990. So leg work. Wow. That's Bill, right?
Bill Legg.
Bill Legg. Send me an email with your address, and I'll get the stickers off to you. And I think I still got stickers. Yeah, I got a few. I'm running out of stickers again. I'm gonna have to reorder. I'm gonna have to get the 3rd edition. I'll have to put the DPAC. I'll have to put the DPAC logo on there with the little YouTube logo.
The YouTube logo.
Yeah. So anyway, my email address is in the about section of the channel thing, so you can go in that doobly-doo down there and send me an email with your mailing address. Yeah, because I don't need your email address. I can't email the stickers. I tried that with Uncle Bill's Toys. But anyway, yeah, send me your mailing address, and we'll get something off to you. And speaking of mailing address, I sent my mailing address off to somebody, and look what came in the mail.
Wow.
I got those guys from Herman and Lawrence. Those guys T-shirt. So I'll be taking that with me to Newfoundland and proudly displaying their logo there. So, yeah.
I thought you were going to say you were going to regift it.
Oh, no, I'm not regifting that. If somebody wants one, they can go buy one.
Yeah.
But no, that was very nice of those guys to think of me. They're both on the wall. There's Herman there, and then Lawrence was a few weeks later over here. And everybody that's a guest on the show gets a spot on the wall until I run out of wall. Then I'm going to have to start covering the door maybe. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. And
start going up and over the ceiling. And
yeah, it's the wall of fame. So, yeah, anyway.
Very cool.
Beaver Lake, Tamworth, Starlink. How's that working out for you?
Well, I was just going to ask you, because I know I froze up again. How many times have I frozen up in the 40 minutes that we've been talking? I
haven't noticed it at all.
Maybe three.
Maybe three? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So first of all, I love it. So I'm going to trash it in a minute, but I love it. I absolutely love it, because where I am on the lake, it's 7 kilometers from what's called the D-SLAM, technically, and the outer limit for getting internet from a D-SLAM of this particular kind is 5 kilometers. And strangely enough, my son, who is a software engineer, wrote software for that D-SLAM because he works at Nokia as well. So I was beyond the reach of the carrier that I'm not allowed to mention, or I would have fired, and because I said some nasty things. Anyway, it's true. I had the president of Nokia Canada call me one day after a video went out, and they say, "What did you say, and why?" Because this particular provider of internet is a very big customer, and I'm sure you can guess amongst the 2 or 3 that you could guess. And I said, I didn't slam anybody. I was just saying Starlink is fantastic. So I was getting 2.5 meg down, 2.5 meg, and 0.7 I think up. And with Starlink, I get, well, it's not so good this month, but 80 to 100 down and 7 to 10 up. For a dish that sits there and doesn't move, it's all done. All the tracking of these satellites is all done electronically using phased array antennas, and it's just so astonishing and such a complete change. Like my wife and I were like, this, it was like we love being at the cottage, but we could never live here because we're both internet based, and it was really a struggle. Like when I was working, I would tell her, don't be downloading anything on the landline, because I couldn't work. So we get this Starlink, and we've now had it a year and a half, because it was March of, or almost a year and a half. It was March of 2020. Is that right? No, 2021, I guess. No, that can't be. Yeah, 2021. And I'm terrible with dates. It was just like a game changer. It was just astonishing. But the catch is that it depends upon seeing satellites that are whizzing overhead, right? And it tracks them electronically, and it switches from one to another, but it runs into problems when there's trees and anything else that happens to be in the area. In my case, I'm in the middle of the frickin' woods, so there's trees on one side that are really nasty, and I'm not cutting down trees just for my internet. So what happens is, if it's tracking a satellite and it starts going in between branches or leaves, it'll try to keep it, and that's when I have my outage. And then it'll finally say, damn it, there's nothing there. And it'll switch to another satellite. So
Yeah.
as long as there's other satellites, and there's always like six to eight, I think I counted, 6 to 10 satellites at any time that I can actually see overhead. But if it's tracking one that happens to be in the weeds, then I'm screwed. And it happens happen
right now.
Yeah. And now.
and now. And still there. And that's a big one. And
oh, we're here. There you
go.
Wow,
you cut out.
That was the big one. That was the big one.
Okay.
The big hiccup.
So the cool thing is that you can go to your app and you can actually see your outages as they're happening, and you can tell how long a particular outage was. So I'm just going to see that particular one just now was 16 seconds. Now, I don't think I was gone for 16 seconds. I was probably gone for 10 at the most.
Oh yeah, I mean, 5 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could go back and replay it, but we won't.
I was probably stuck there. But you know, it's annoying as hell that I'm getting these. What I've asked for to the gods of Elon is, why can't I go into my app? Because I'll just show you here. It's kind of cool. Whoops.
Yeah, go into the app and say, don't track this. You know, like it doesn't learn where the trees are.
Yeah. Like I don't know whether you can see it, but you know, it shows you a display, and you can see on the west side, which is now on the back, but it's coming around. I've got a big tree in the north, big trees on the east, and then on the west side is the bad part, and it's just coming around.
Yeah.
And why can't I just go into the app and say, don't look there. Don't even think about tracking a satellite there.
Yeah.
And, you know, come on. It's just...
See, that's the problem I have here, is that I live in the middle of an open field pretty much, except for the 3/4 of an acre that I'm on, which is covered in trees. I planted this thing with trees. When we got the house, it had trees that were over 100 years old. I've got 80-foot pines in the front. You can't take aerial photos of this house because it's underneath the forest, right?
Right.
You know, it's an 1860 farmhouse that's in this, either the old forest or the one that I planted. You know, so when I look around here, I'm thinking, where can I? There's a spot over the hot tub. I always take off from the hot tub because it's a nice, you know, it's a 7 by 7 foot platform to take off and land on, you know, and nothing straight up. But once you get up there, you got to go 80 feet up before you can get out of the yard.
What about on top of the silo? Because isn't there a silo really close?
Yeah, there's a silo, but that's not on my property. That's over next door.
Okay.
And then I'd have to run cable from, so he's 100 and I would say probably 200 feet away from the property line, and then another 40 feet to the house. So, you know, that's a lot of cable.
You could probably do it though. I mean, the Starlink system now has extendable cables. They come in 75-foot lengths. You could probably do it. Or, and you don't need power there. Never mind. If there's power at the silo and your neighbor allows you to, you never know.
No power out there. No. But here's the thing. I've got markers all over the front yard. They came and surveyed all the underground stuff because they're getting ready to put fiber in.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you know, we're going to wait for fiber. But I've got ExploreNet is the service provider here. And their slogan is, we're not happy till you're not happy. My internet, when it goes out, you get a 16-second outage and it's a big deal. I get a 6-hour outage and I call them and they go, well, there's nothing really wrong. You know, we'll have it back up by 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh my God. Seriously?
You know? Yeah. So we were on a stream here. My internet just cut right out, right? So I went and I got my phone out, made it a hotspot, got back on, and ran up $50 in that hour in overage charges on my cell phone.
Ouch. That would hurt. Yeah.
You know, and then because it's $50, then they cut you off until your next billing cycle.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Nice.
Well, you know, because they, you know, by law they can't charge you more than $50 over your contract. Sure. So I just got, what's today, the 16th. I just got my internet on my phone back on Monday, which meant that I couldn't use my internet for navigation in the car because I couldn't get Google Maps to work.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's nuts, you know. But anyway.
Now, Jim, I have to ask you this: is Gary freezing up for you, or is it just during that conversation?
There were little spurts that he did, but constant audio was good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I wondered if it was me, but okay, yeah.
I'm the one that always freezes up over here.
Well, you see, I freeze up, so that's why I don't worry so much about hair and makeup before the show. Oh, DWE UAVP is in the chat, and One Vision Aerial. Did I mention that? DWE is in Ireland.
Yeah, I love his videos. They're so cool.
Yeah. Jim's Droning has joined us. He was at our drone meetup there.
Yeah.
And Artco's here. Art Carlson from Artco Drone Solutions, Lake Pilot, Bill from Coast to Coast Drones, Don from Mudball Creative. Did I miss anybody, Jim?
Angela from Lost Girl. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Angela from Lost Girl Hikes. Alan from Drone Views Media. He's up on the wall right there, over there. There's Alan up at the top row.
Yeah. We do have a lot of Canadians watching, so I'm sure this is more interesting for them when we are talking.
Yeah. One of the questions I had on the exam, and I always go back to this one: Who on an airplane is authorized to serve alcohol?
Yeah. Who the hell knows?
Anybody authorized by the pilot in command. So there you go.
But why is that on our exam? So when we did the survey, we were pretty sure that the hot topic to address was the exams, and it's not the exams per se, but the exam knowledge areas which underlie them. And so the survey confirmed that, and a couple of people came back and said, I don't understand, why would 75% or whatever it was that we had choose, to fix the exams that everybody's passed, or almost everybody in the association. And a couple of us answered back. Mike Hill answered, and I answered. I said, well, it's because this is nonsense. We don't want everybody who's going into droning to experience the stuff that we experienced, because it's not sensible to have dumb questions on an exam and not have good questions on the exam. Like, there's nowhere on the exam that asks, how do you actually know if it's safe to fly where you're flying? And there's a reason for that, because Transport Canada, when they wrote the exams or set up the exams, didn't have an answer to that. They couldn't point to the NRC drone site selection tool, because that was run by a guy who I've met for a beer. And he said, it's just me, and it wasn't his job. He was doing it on the side, well, kind of on the side. It was part of his day. He did it during the day, but he said, they don't have a tool, or at the time they didn't have a tool. And, I put out Drone Pilot Canada, and so they didn't have an answer to the obvious question: how do you know if it's safe to fly? And because the only answer they could acknowledge was you look in the CFS and you measure on a VFR chart with a thread. I mean, come on. So our number one priority for DPAC is going to be to go after those exam knowledge areas and try to convince Transport Canada that what they've got doesn't work and that they're missing a huge chunk. And the cool thing is that one of the outcomes of this morning's meeting was not only did we get answers to the questions that we asked, but I didn't ask for it. They suggested it. Transport Canada suggested it. How about we meet quarterly and, talk over a few selected topics that we agree upon in advance? I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir, please. So it's
moving right along. That's good. And it seems like they're willing to take a look at what we need. I think we're all interested in safety, right?
Of course. Yeah.
I would hate to think that my drone could hurt somebody in a manned aircraft.
Right.
So I'm always on the lookout. Now, I have ADSB AirSense or whatever it's called on my Mavic.
Yeah.
But a lot of aircraft in the area don't have ADSB out.
That came up in our meeting as well. Like even one of the Transport Canada guys said, and ADSB isn't mandatory in Canada. It's like, well, frickin' get on with it. That would be, Transport Canada that would do that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pushback from pilots that are represented by organizations like the one that starts with a C. And, they don't want to spend money on their plane, any more than you or I would want to spend extra money to do something like that. But if it was mandatory to have ADSB out on small aircraft and they had to have it activated when they're in Class G airspace, what an amazingly different perspective it would be. Because of course, obviously not every drone has that capability, the AirSense capability, not now anyway, but by the time that the mandatory stuff came through and all of that, we'd be in a very safe environment. Drone pilots would be able to detect and be told there's a plane coming instead of this, listen on an airband radio for somebody in gibberish words to say that they're coming close to some place that you don't understand. I mean, that's what they want us to do. It doesn't make any sense.
No, that's right.
So ADSB out, yes, it's on our radar. But that would be a stupendously huge step forward to have that on all aircraft.
Yeah.
It's not going to be for decades.
I was in an airplane on one of these sightseeing tour things in our area. They used to have a Father's Day thing where you got to bring your kids and you'd go up and they'd give you a flight for they'd weigh your kid and decide how much it was going to cost. Right. I mean, it was like $10 to go out for a flight around Brantford. But anyway, listening to the pilot, like you've got the headset on, so you're listening to him talking to air traffic control, which it wasn't really air traffic control. It was somebody in the office saying, okay, you're next in and you're next out and blah, blah, blah. Because it's a non-towered airport.
Right.
But listening to these guys, if I was a non-pilot and not in the plane, I wouldn't understand. He said, we're passing over the chocolate factory. Okay. So they were building a Ferrero Rocher plant. They make the little chocolate things.
The gold ones, yeah. I know my chocolate.
But that was known as the chocolate factory. So if you weren't from the area and you heard that an airplane was at 900 feet over the chocolate factory, you wouldn't know if he was west of the airport, east of the airport, south of you'd have no clue.
I would have thought that he was over that septic bed that you have in your intro.
Yeah. The one that you didn't get to see because I cut it off early.
Yeah. Oh, I saw the septic bed and I thought, look, there's a chocolate factory.
I mean, that's the kind of nonsense that you were getting. Anyway, we're coming up to the hour and you've got a meeting to go to.
Oh my God. Where's the hour gone?
That was an hour, right? This is the hour
Yeah.
before Thursday Night Live. So we have to be off at 7 so that people get a chance to have a meal, have a drink, get into their pajamas, and fall asleep before Ken Herron comes on. And you were on Ken Herron's show, number 107, on August the 15th, 2019.
Wow,
and I watched
that's a long time ago.
I watched it back this week, and that's how I came up with the notes that told me what kind of
How embarrassing. 2019.
Yeah.
I think I had hair then.
Yeah. Any parting words for us before we go off, Don?
Well, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you, and I'm glad I had a chance, to get this opportunity in to talk to you guys and share some hot off the press stuff from the Transport Canada meeting. And just have fun, stay safe. It's a great hobby. It's a safe hobby. Let's keep it that way, and let's try to work and cooperate with Transport Canada to nudge them slowly towards having fun.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, good work. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to put you guys back in the room, and we'll see if I can figure out how to do the outro without stopping it early. So,
great, everybody. Thanks for stopping.
Thanks, everybody. It was a great show. Thanks so much, Don. Hang around after for a minute, and we'll chat again.
Sure.
Okay, let me figure this out. See, this is the whole thing. Every week it's the same, right?
Special thanks to everybody that stuck around to the end of the show of the hour before TNL, all 2,417 of you.